In my mind, I don't know about most people, but this makes perfect sense. We have a president right now who doesn't care what's going on in Texas at our borders, and he's just allowing people to come in. And when you ship those people that he's allowed in to his front door, he has a problem with it then. But other than that, as long as it's a problem in Texas, it's not a problem for him. What is going on, everyone's? We are here and we are back with another episode of
Is My Point Valid?
Yes, indeed. And I am yours truly, Brandon D.
And I am Camille A. Stalker.
And today we're gonna do things a little different. We have been seeing a lot of things going on in the news lately, and we just wanted to address some of those things, talk about it, give our points of view, our opinions, and see if our points are valid. But before we do that, I want to say first, over this week, I lost a really important guy in my life, a guy who taught me a lot, a guy who took me in as his own when I was in the need of a father figure. Now, mind you, I always had my daddy, but he was not always present. He had a lot of things going on, but RIP to Mr. Ben Belding. He is one of the people who helped me to realize that not all white people are bad. Before then, I kind of had a sour taste about white people, just how I grew up, just being around the people that I've been around and listening to the things that are spewed in the black community. You would think that most white people are against black people, but this guy right here, Mr. Ben, he let me know that there's good people everywhere, of all nationalities, all ethnicities, and all of that. So I just wanted to start by saying RIP Ben, you will be truly missed. You are probably one of the most God-fearing and righteous men I have ever known. So I feel good knowing that you are going to live with the Lord. So aside from that, we're going to go ahead and get into some of these topics for today. And where you want to start, baby?
Well, Greg Abbott is number one on both of our lists.
All right, well, let's get into Greg Abbott. Mr. Wheelchair Shouty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my boy Greg Abbott. Well, he ain't really my boy. I don't want y'all to get that best all twisted. But your boy, Greg Abbott, passed a new immigration law this week, over the weekend, something like that. He passed a new immigration law where he's making it tougher on illegal immigrants to cross over the border. And for those who have done it multiple times, he's giving you jail time. So there's a lot of people out here who are saying that this is racial or this is discriminatory or saying a lot of crazy things when, in my mind, I don't know about most people, but this makes perfect sense. We have a president right now who doesn't care what's going on in Texas at our borders, and he's just allowing people to come in. And when you ship those people that he's allowed in to his front door, he has a problem with it then. But other than that, as long as it's a problem in Texas, it's not a problem for him. And he's even gone on TV and said that there's no problem at the border. But if you look at the numbers, just strictly numbers, there have been 2.4 million illegal immigrants led into the United States in the past year.
And people who are trying to do it correctly are having a hard time.
Yeah, we're not speaking to people who come here through the legal process, right, through the, what they call it? I can't remember what they called.
Immigration.
No, what they call the way they come in legally.
The visa?
Whatever it is. But anyway, we're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people who are coming from all of these places who are not necessarily seeking asylum, but they want to just come in. They don't want no papers. They don't want no trail to who they are, what they've done, or any of that. Because that's another thing that's happening. They're not even doing background checks on these people, so we don't even know who they're letting in. Mm-hmm. And then they're implementing them into our communities. And not only are they taking our jobs for little to no wages, because most people don't really want to pay people. Mm-hmm. So that's how they get in. And then I also think that they're using them to make them legal and having them do things like vote so they can have certain things passed. The whole thing just seems crazy to me. And I don't understand why it's a problem when you have someone who's looking at the issue, who deals with the issue on a daily basis. And he's clearly saying that we have a president who does nothing. So when you have a president who does nothing, somebody's got to do something. And Mr. Wheelchair Shouted did something. Now it's a problem.
Well, Biden is doing something. So we're not going to sit here and say that he's not doing anything. He is actually doing something because it's a part of campaigning. What is he offering that's going to get people to vote for him again, right? What is the Democratic Party doing? Because even the Republican Party, even the independent parties, they all have motives,
absolutely,
in order to try and get the vote. And that's why you also see the voting rate going down, why people don't want to vote, because you don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
You're looking at the president of the United States saying there is not an illegal alien problem, but there is. And it was not just happening in the South, when Texas, where we see Greg Abbott taking
action.
I was going to say taking a stand, but I'm pumped.
He can't stand for nothing.
Wow.
No, but
he can't stand for immigration. But it's also happening in New York. It's happening in California. But in those, I don't know if New York is a blue state or not. I'm not sure. But we know California is a blue state. Texas is a red state. So the governor in California is not really pushing that narrative because there's a lot of things that are going haywire in California. And so Governor Abbott is seeing that, this cannot happen because with these, I'm saying illegal aliens that are coming into the country, they are people who have been harmful to other people, and they are coming into the United States and harming us.
They even have people that they know for a fact, because I remember when Ted Cruz was at Congress and he was asking all of the Congress people who have no connection to Texas, he was asking them if they knew what the color wristbands were that a lot of the illegal immigrants were coming over with. And they had no clue. But what those bands mean, or what they represent, is the people who owe the cartels. Based on the color is how much money they owe the cartel. So they're coming over here to pay off, not only work for, but to pay off their debts in the country that they've come from.
Even, I don't want to get too deep into this, but even what was happening from the Palestinian Israeli, yes, there are some immigrants from there too.
Absolutely.
Now, they are probably not linked with the good part of the people, right? They're linked with that group that I'm not going to say they're linked with that group. And so you're letting people come in and then have children, and then their children attend colleges, and then you have these hate words and crimes that are coming out. I don't like you because of this is what's happening. This is what's happening.
So essentially, we're training the people who hate us the most. I don't understand how this makes sense.
But if you look at history is repeating itself, because we've done not this whole border thing. This is really new, but we've always allowed in others into our country. And then when the others, we can look at World War II. We could look at 9/11. We could look at those things and see, one of these things does not fit into it. And so we're looking at it today. Well, a lot of these things do not fit. So it's not one person who is working in government and then they go back to wherever they have come from. But this is like
this is a system.
It's scary. It's just a little scary.
Absolutely. We don't know what these people are coming over here for, what their intentions are.
And a lot of people are saying open borders, open borders. And I had made this this statement to you the other day. We can't, every Black person, we're going to go back to Africa. First off, if you don't know, Africa is a continent. So
Absolutely.
where in Africa are you going to go, right?
Yeah.
Where
That's
are
just
you
like
going?
saying you're going to the United States.
Where in Africa are you going to go? So I use the example, the border of Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Now, if we go to the border of Sierra Leone, are we going to be able to hop their fence and get in and they're just going to let us go free? No,
nah.
Either we're going to be taken into captivity. We're going to be taken in or we be killed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just seen a video today where a woman from England was upset because Africans are trying to leave Africa and go to England. And she was like, how are we supposed to feel about that? He was like, the same way we felt about y'all coming and stealing all our resources and taking them back to over there. He was like, if someone comes in your house and steals your TV and the person that who got the TV stole goes to that person's house and tries to watch the TV, how you gonna feel about that?
Like it's all crazy because even what we're talking about, we can always go. I know there's gonna be somebody who says, well, our ancestors were taken. They were.
Absolutely.
They were. Yeah. I cannot take that away.
But there's a lot of layers to that as well.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But we are here today. This is home. I can't go anywhere I can, but I would want to do it the legal way.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
My thing is this. And I don't want to do anything that's going to risk the chance of me going to jail or being sent somewhere. I obviously I left that place for a reason. So I don't want to do anything that's going to have me back in the place that I left. So that goes to the immigrants and all of that there. I understand that they're going through things where they're from, but when you come over here and there's a system in place to send you back to where you come from, why would you risk? I don't know.
Like, it's complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, although it is complicated, there has to be some set border because we can't hold, we can't hold people like this.
And another thing, we're putting a lot of time, a lot of energy and resources into people who aren't even supposed to be here. Why aren't we giving those same resources to the ones who are struggling, who are from here?
Yeah.
And not even just Black people. You have poor white people. You have poor all kind of Americans. Why aren't we helping those people prosper and giving all our resources to a different country, Ukraine, the Palestine, and all of that there? But you have people who are struggling right here that are from here.
Doesn't make sense.
You have veterans who are struggling right here, right now. You have more homeless veterans than you do people who are actually surviving out here.
And just even homeless people in general.
That too.
They're in these streets. And so we say we want to help.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can go look at people living in tents, you can living in boxes and all these things. And then they say, well, we can't, there are a lot of homes who don't accept men, which is baffling. But if you accept women and children, okay, cool.
Absolutely.
But if you have a husband, then that's a split thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have to split up. And so then
that's a part of the
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Split up the home.
Split up the home.
Yeah.
So where are these nonprofits who are saying, hey, no, you're welcome. You know, whole families are welcome. Let's help you get back on your feet. I have this program where you can go work to provide for your family. Let's do these.
We have this notion that men don't struggle as well.
But that's dumb.
Men are human.
That's dumb.
Everybody goes through some kind of a struggle. And just because you're a woman doesn't mean that your struggle is more than mine. Matter of fact, I think it's completely contrary. I think it's harder out here for men than it is women. Because women, in a lot of cases, women make the choices that lead them to the places they are. In a lot of cases, men are pushed into situations.
Go more.
So if a man can't find a job, then he got to do something. But if a woman can't find a job, she has Section 8. She has food stamps, welfare, all of these resources for her to kind of get back on her feet. But she gets those resources and wants those resources forever. There's no, you get this for a certain amount of time and then you need to get back into the swing of things. But for men, it's just throw them out there to the wolves. Mm-hmm. There's really no system. There's really nothing to help us get back on our feet. We have to just pull up our bootstraps.
So that's what I was saying about there needs, where are the nonprofits where there are programs where, hey, let me help you get your CDL. Yeah. Hey, let me help you get this license, your license in plumbing. Let me help you you want to be an electrician. Those are things that are needed. Yeah. But we are full of excuses all the time. And so we immigration, we look at homelessness. We can't fix this. We can't fix this.
You have to start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere. And I get it. There are people who are feeding the homeless, but we need more than food.
And on the other side of that, you have millions of pounds of food that are being thrown away by restaurants on the daily basis.
And if you go dig in the trash for it, you go to jail.
You go to jail.
This doesn't make any sense. Me and my sister were just talking about this last week. They put it's Sephora, there's Starbucks. We don't even do Starbucks anyway, but there are all these places who have these things and you can't go get it. But you're throwing away food, and then we're saying, well, there's nothing to eat. There is food.
Yeah.
There is food.
All right, so this happened to me not too long ago. I went to McDonald's, and they got my order, my hamburger wrong.
No, they threw it away.
Instead of giving that hamburger to me or somebody, I could have given it to somebody. Instead of doing that, they was like, let me get that hamburger. And she went straight to the trash with it and made another one. But we complain about how we can't help the homeless people, we can't help the hungry people, and we give trillions and millions and thousands of dollars to people who aren't even from here, have no connection to here, aren't going to help the economy in any kind of way. But we say, oh, the homeless problem is something that we just can't deal with.
I 100% believe we can fix it.
Absolutely.
I 100% believe that we
Stop
can
the bullshit.
If people stop, that's what I was talking about. We have the what is it? The Democrats, the Independents.
That's all separation.
It's all different because everybody has this different ideology and nobody's really seeing the end goal. How do we save the whole freaking community, right? Yeah. We talk about the Black community or in the Mexican community. We talk about the different communities and how it's split up. And we always say, well, the Black community isn't going to be good until we all unite and all of this, right? Well, the all of us ain't gonna be good because eventually we're still gonna be the bottom of the bottom, and the people who are gonna be getting richer and richer and richer, they don't know how to help us because their reality is not our reality. Yeah. And honest, our reality is not a homeless person's reality. Absolutely. My reality as a mom is way different from a single mother.
But there are people who have been in those positions that understand those positions.
Yes, but what happens when you're not fixing it?
Hey.
When we see and we say if inflation is a problem, yeah, inflation is a problem. But if there were more jobs and generating money and people were making the money that they were supposed to, then there's not an issue with inflation, poverty.
If wages went up with inflation, there wouldn't be a problem. But we're making the same money we were making 10, 15, 20 years ago with the new prices. Everything has gone up but wages.
They say it's not an easy fix. We get all these freaking.
It ain't easy, but it's simple.
We get these Sheila Jackson Lees out. We get all these people who have been in Congress,
who have done nothing,
who have been doing things wrong.
Crooked.
I'm gonna say, if you say crooked, I know we're talking about Abbott and immigration, but the streets aren't even.
Bigger, yeah.
They're talking about infrastructure. there's nothing wrong with infrastructure, right? There's nothing wrong with widening the freeways. Stop moving here. There's nothing.
But you're spending millions and trillions of dollars on things that really aren't going to help the people.
How is that sufficient for somebody? How are you? And then that goes into immigration. When this was like when school was starting, and in New York, they were accommodating immigrants more than they were accommodating
even with
citizens.
Even with housing, they were turning hotels into permanent living spaces for the immigrants. And they're doggone homeless people right outside those places.
Like, how does that
Americans?
How does that make sense? So that goes back to the question: how are you helping others? How are we sending billions and billions of dollars?
And I just want to say this real quick. The reason why there's so many people in Texas, in Houston, for instance, is because of the wages. If people in New York was making the money that they were supposed to be making, then they wouldn't be moving to Houston or in other southern places, and they would be all right, and we wouldn't have to improve the infrastructure.
So it's going to be another migration, because remember,
absolutely,
it was a migration that started, but that had nothing to do with money. It had to do with race. Race, Jim Crow. Mm-hmm. So we leave the South, we need to go up north.
Now they're coming back
this
down.
Is another migration, but it has nothing to do with
racial
profiling. It has to do with money. I can't afford this. I can't afford this, and it is crazy. And in my mind, I'm like, this is an easy fix. But if you don't want to fix something, then it's not an easy fix.
Absolutely.
If people aren't seeing eye to eye with you, it's not an easy fix. It's just gonna stay and get worse.
It's gonna get
it's
worse.
Gonna get worse before it gets better. Yeah. And I don't even think people right now understand that we are in a recession. It has not been said, but it is here. Happening. And I'm going to let y'all know, it has been here.
Yeah.
It was happening in 2019. Okay, it was happening. It was happening. We got flooded with COVID. So that was, we're at home. Money's coming to you because the government is saying, hey, I'm going to help you until this passes. And
that really wasn't a good thing either. That's the reason why we're going through the whole money thing, and most other countries are linking up to devalue the American dollar and turn it to something else like the euro or whatever it's going to be. But they've been saying, like, Africans, I've seen African leaders, Russian leaders, they're like, we don't want the American dollar to be the universal currency anymore.
We are not as powerful as we once were.
No. They looking at us and they laughing, and there's a big reason for that is the leadership. They look at our leadership and they think it's a joke. So if you think the leaders are a joke, you sure think the citizens are a joke.
Yeah, and then they think people are a joke because we hand out medals and stuff to hip hop artists. We hand out, the presidential award for this, and that is,
in no other country are musicians and artists and celebrities major influences.
I think they are, but with that, if they are somebody very influential, then they've done something for the country that has been very influential. Because right now, I guess 2023 is the year to celebrate 50 years of hip hop, right? And so you've seen all these things, and you've seen all the rappers come together, and hip hop saved my life. I got Mississippi tattoos because it's like,
fool.
What?
How does that make sense?
You got Mississippi tattooed on you.
Hip hop made you do that?
But Mississippi still suck as a state. And I'm not saying
one of the worst.
Not saying like the people suck. The state, the status of the state is low.
Yeah.
So because you got a tattoo, and because you can say I'm from Mississippi, but where do you live now? But where do you live now?
It ain't Mississippi.
Are you paying taxes into that state?
No, you're not.
Most
of the people from Mississippi going straight to Atlanta.
Absolutely, because one of my comedians I like
straight in Atlanta.
Straight in Atlanta.
Straight up.
From Mississippi. Yep.
Mississippi.
So, you know, where are your taxes going? And we're looking at this, and it's I'm looking at this, and I'm like, this is sad, because this goes back to, how have you served the community physically, not musically, financially, but physically? How have you, and not with turkeys and not with bicycles, right? Not with going into schools and having a once a year chat with a different set of children every year. How are we going in? How are you? Are you able to go into schools and, like, how can I explain this? If you are a Black artist and you know that the children that in Black communities, that their books, their workbooks or textbooks are not up to date with what they're supposed to be doing, how is it okay for them to know your music, but you not help out and say, well, I know these little Black children need to be reading more.
And the thing that they're listening to, your music is not even helping them. Your music is furthering the debauchery and the foolishness that's going on in the world. So I don't even understand how you're an influence anyway.
I don't know. Why
you should be an influence.
How I transitioned into hip hop was because I was watching this Netflix show. It was a documentary called Ladies First, the story of women in hip hop. And so I was like, hey, you know, maybe this will be interesting. Well, maybe I'll learn something about, you know, the history of women in hip hop. And when I watched it, I was very disgusted because it was like when I saw such and such, it inspired me to want to be this person, right? And there were 3 women on there who I really do respect, which is Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and Yo-Yo. And I liked their stories because they were I thought they were being genuine and authentic with what the message should be to women. With Queen Latifah, you know, she has who you calling up, UNITY, like respect. You're not going to walk around calling me anything, or I'm not going to bend over. There was this thing, respect me because I am woman, and I respect you because you are man, right? That I like that. With MC Lyte, she was talking about, she was on some public enemy type stuff. How are we going to change it? How are we going to, right?
Stuff like that, yeah.
And educating you about Black artists or Black people, Black history, kind of what Nas was doing in his music. Mm-hmm. So then Yo-Yo, I liked her story because she was like, no, you're not going to call me a B because that's disrespectful. And then you have, I don't want to call names, you have people like Cash Doll and Cardi B and Remy Ma who are okay with those statuses, or saying, hey, I was a stripper, this is what I did. All right, this is what you did. But why do we continue to promote that to young girls? And I was disgusted because it's Black women and sexuality. What does that mean?
That's sexual degeneracy.
What does that mean? Why do I have to show everything? Why do I have to have my legs wide open and humping the floor? First off, you're arousing young boys and men. That is arousal because
So really we're not even watching you for your music.
No.
We're watching you for your
basically
body.
Porn.
Absolutely. That's soft porn.
That's basically what it is. You have 2 women close. I don't know. I was just
borderline humping each other.
Hunching. Hunching.
Dry hunching.
And so that was very, I was disgusted. I was like, this, how did we go from this to this? And then you're saying, well, we're feminist. And I was like, how? Meg Thee Stallion was on some my body, my choice. I get it. It is my body. It is my choice.
But you're not leaving much choice to the people who are, to the little children that are watching you.
Right.
Because they think that's okay.
Because, hey, she's doing it. I can do it. Or, and then we have grown women who will say, well, it's not that bad because she's being sexual. Black women need to be sexual.
Why, Sway?
I think we should be sexual
at home. Find you a man to be sexual
behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
Every man should not know that I have a mole wherever, right?
On your booty
every man should not know, like, these things about my body. There should only be one man who knows those things,
those intimate
things, and that I share that with. And so another thing that bothered me in this documentary was the story about Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, in which I was disturbed. Oh, there was some more things, but I was disturbed about this because if you don't know, well, now you know. Foxy Brown was a teenager. She was 14, 15 years old, Il Nana, right? So she's on the cover in whatever the heck she's wearing, soft porn once again, men's imaginations running wild, boys' imaginations running wild. She's 15. Yep. So you're a grown man looking at a 15-year-old. Then you have to look at who she was surrounded with.
Jay-Z.
And so, and then you have women telling the story. She was being sexual. She was showing her sexuality.
At 15?
Lil' Kim was on the red carpet and she had the one boob with the little thing. That's sexual. Oh, that's a good idea. And that inspires that inspires Nicki Minaj. And how is that inspirational?
Y'all inspire Sexy Red.
How is that inspirational? That is not inspirational. I was so maybe because I didn't used to feel this way. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't used to feel this way because I thought music makes you feel good. And I'm gonna be honest. I never listened to Lil' Kim because she was a little too nasty for me. So I've never listened to Foxy Brown like that because that was a little too nasty for me. And I didn't like women saying those things, but I was okay with listening to Pretty Ricky. I was okay with listening to R. Kelly. I was okay with listening with those things. And that's a point that they made, what you about to say.
Women, I don't understand why women want the same standards as a man. A man, I'm not saying it's okay.
And that's the part that's not okay either.
So you trying to one up a man.
And it was kind of what they were saying. Well, if they can talk about women's bodies, then let me talk about my body.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it any better.
I can do better.
It doesn't make it any better. He sexualized you. He's being misogynistic to you. So you're sexualizing yourself.
All the while, they had negative things to say to men who were saying and calling you bees and hoes and all of this.
And you will call yourself one. Yeah. I'm
a bad bitch.
What? How does that make sense? And then
I didn't know putting bad. When I was young, I didn't know putting bad in front of bitch was a good thing. But even when a man says it kind of rubs them the wrong way. But if you have a bunch of gay men, homosexual men, or women telling you a bad bitch, then it's all good.
That was one thing that was off limits with me. I might have lost a couple of friends with that. I don't care. You don't call me out my name. You have to call me anything. You call me Camille. If you can't call me Camille, then you just move on out my way because I'm not going to disrespect you and call you out your name. Yeah. That was one thing that was always on the plate.
RESPECT.
Don't call me out my name because I'm not those things. Now, if I am those things, then okay, but I'm not. But I'm not those things. I'm not going to take that on because I'm not.
And it's not empowering.
It's not empowering.
You showing your body, you exploiting yourself is not empowering. That's not women empowerment. That's not even feminist, and I don't even like the word feminist because it makes no sense to me. But a woman should be feminine.
Yes.
And when you're being feminine, there's certain things that you don't need to do, and there's other things that you don't need to do in public for everyone to see. I don't understand. And it's a lot of black women. I hate to say it, but it's a lot of. I mean, there are white women, but it seems that was the
point that they kind of made too. That when I can't remember what group it was that did it.
It was a white group.
No, it was a black group, but they were saying the marketing for it was It was a hip hop, a hippie to the hip hop was the rapper's delight. When the video came out, the women on the stage were white women in bikinis and all of this. And so the thought pattern of this black woman who was talking on there was like, well, it was to market to white people, to get white people to like hip hop. And if you have that whole community liking hip hop, of course there's more money, right?
Yeah.
So why couldn't it be a thing of this is ours, this is sacred? Like, once again, we're always trying to capitalize off of what other people have or what other people can do for us and not what we can do for ourselves, because hip hop is not, the artists are black.
Yeah.
But how many people how many
CEOs
black people are on their own labels?
And a lot of these black artists, like, I'm gonna just throw a name out there, Lil Wayne. When he has a concert, most of his crowd are white.
White people.
Black people are not supporting other black people like that. The music, and even though they want black people to, the music that they're making, it somehow resonates with white people more than the black people, when the black people are the ones who are making the product. It's crazy.
I don't know. I was like, we are steady trying to honor this other side, and then we'll say, well, I'm all for black people, right? And I'm not saying you can't be, but I'm just always like, y'all be talking about how to build the black community, but you want other people's money to fund what it is, or you'll leave hip hop and you'll go a different route or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not even in the business. I just know that with ladies first.
Or you'll make your money and move to the white neighborhoods instead of building up the
or
black
move to a whole another state, like we were talking about David Banner in Mississippi. You move somewhere else and pay your taxes there and built these big old houses and not come back to the community, and there's still little poor.
Now, mind you, we don't know what David Banner has done
not.
in Mississippi, but
no, the thing that bothered me was you said I have a tattoo. That's like me saying I have Texas tattooed on me, but what have I done for Texas? If I get money that can help, and then I can live off of something too, I know they got to live off of it. I ain't saying like they can't give all their money into a community and then they don't have anything. That's not realistic. But what type of education programs do we got going, or reading programs or something is going on? It's just, these are just questions that when I sit and watch these documentaries, I'm just questioning everything. Like it's a Fanny Dooley, it's a contradiction. You're saying, hey, this is how hip hop did this, or this is how this happened. But in order for hip hop to really succeed, it wouldn't have, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, hip hop would not have succeeded solely on the backs of black people.
No, it would not.
So 50 years of hip hop.
What does it really mean?
Nothing.
Does it have any significance whatsoever?
Like, was the music good? Cool. But we're learning a lot of things about these artists too, where it's like, no, I don't want to listen to that. No, I don't condone that, because I know Foxy Brown was 15, right? I know Little Kim was abused during this time. Nah, but she was jamming. Like, how does that make sense?
Their abuse contributes to the type of music that they were making. The type of people that they were around are contributing to the type of music that's being made. I don't think if the people around her wasn't on what she was on, then she probably wouldn't have been making that music.
Right. Absolutely. I'm just,
and like you told me, if you listen to these artists who have
cadence is the same. That's the word I was trying to get. Cadence.
Yeah.
Cadence is the same. If you listen to Foxy Brown, she sounds like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
If you listen to Lil Kim,
she sounds like Biggie.
It's Biggie.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who Eve sound like, y'all. Is it DMX? Is it what's his name with the no? Alicia Keys' husband. Swiss Beats. Like, who, I don't know who.
And even Trina sound like Trick Daddy.
Yeah. And I brought up Mia X. Like, Mia X wasn't even a part. Unless, hold on, I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't finished the whole.
She might have been on.
She might have been on part 2.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
But she really has the same cadence as a Master P. Them.
Yeah. I'm gonna know a little soldier.
Yeah. Yeah, you talking about Silk the Shocker. I'm gonna know them so. You want to keep it right. You're the one to make it say, oh, and about it. That boy had the worst cadence ever in history.
It's like
him and Blueface.
Oh, whoa, don't say that name.
Trash.
Ew. But yeah, so it was just the cadence. So it was all interesting. If y'all want to check that out, I guess y'all can and see if you're disgusted just like I was.
Throw up in your mouth.
I was like, I was eye rolling. So yeah, I don't know. These folks,
they pushing
these narratives,
trash.
It's like, yeah, and they're pushing a lot of trash, and they're like, yes, you have to be okay with this because this is who I am, and because this is who I am, I'm not gonna change. Like that is the stupidest thing.
I seen a video the other day, and a guy was saying how we think the people that love us the most are the ones who are accepting us how we are, but the ones who love you the most are the ones who are challenging you to change to be better. So take heed to that. If you got a bunch of people around you and they know, and you know, and they know that you doing some craziness, some off the wall trash, and they're cheering you on, then you know they don't really care for you. There
was this clip then I'm gonna let it go. In the ladies' first thing, where Nicki Minaj used the C word, that bad C word, it begins with the C,
4-letter word.
Yeah, and it ends with the T. And she said that she was that, and I was like, "What song?" Mind you, I don't listen. The last
Nicki Minaj said she was that.
I gotta go back and watch it. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure
it rhymes with punt.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I'm pretty sure she said that, and I was like, what song is this? Because I remember Nicki Minaj like early on, that like when she was with Kanye,
freestyle,
like that's the Nicki Minaj I was on. This new stuff I don't know, but she said that, and I was like,
on her Lil' Kim now, and then
what in the disrespect? What in the disrespect?
What in the disrespect is y'all doing?
Y'all need to stop disrespecting people.
Straight up.
And let people live their life. Well, no, we need to correct people.
You gotta correct people.
We have to correct
whether
people.
they want correction or not. You still need to speak up on it. Because if not, they're going to continue the madness. But moving on.
Yeah.
Last thing we want to discuss is old Simone Biles and her dude. I don't even know his name.
She's her husband. Yeah. I don't know his name, but her husband.
I can't remember his name, but they did an interview, and I think it's Jonathan something.
Is it Jonathan?
Jonathan something.
Okay, keep it going.
They did an interview on the Pivot podcast, and he was saying how he was the prize and how she pursued him, and he was just a recipient of the pursuit. And what they call it, Black Twitter? Mm-hmm. Man, it's foolishness. Black Twitter ain't even a thing.
I had to get off Twitter. His name is Jonathan Owens, and I had to get off Twitter because people were pissing me off. There's not a lot of things that like that bother me, but that was upsetting because there are black women telling her to divorce him because he said that he was a catch,
and she was right there, and she ain't say nothing,
and she rolled her eyes a little bit, and then you saw RC's.
That was one of them, boy, you crazy. You so crazy.
Exactly.
That wasn't no nigga, you tripping, I roll.
Like, how you sending for her to divorce him? They just got married, first off, so don't be sending that energy. You want them to last as long as forever, not as long as they can, but forever. Like, what?
In y'all miserable space.
That is wild. I'm telling you,
you got a bunch of miserable people with nobody, no significant other, telling some woman that they have no connection to divorce her husband based off some words that was said.
Because he said he was a catch.
And so many words agreed with.
Because he's a catch. And that's the thing. He's a freaking catch for her. And she's a catch for him. And his story is he didn't know who she was. You may know who she was. She's an Olympic
gold medalist.
She is brilliant at the things that she does. But and that's not what he's talking about, I don't think.
We always place people's value on their accomplishments. What I just said.
I don't think that's even what he meant.
And all of that there. And
him as a person, he is a catch. Her as a person, she's a catch. Whatever it is that they saw in each other's eyes, the twinkle, that's what they wanted. It had nothing to do because he's a football player. It has
and
nothing.
2 people can be a catch. She didn't say, or he didn't say she wasn't a catch. He just said he was
a catch.
And she didn't say anything at all.
He felt that he was a catch, and that, like, that
but
is
really,
freaking
she pursued
cute.
him.
It doesn't even matter. That's cute. He thought he was a catch.
Yeah.
I mean, she reeled the nigga in.
Yeah, come here.
And she married him.
Yeah, she said, I know what I wanted, and I went and got it.
And she gonna keep it.
If I want it.
Shoot, this girl is enjoying her life, and y'all
want her miserable like y'all.
Divorce him because he said he's a
whole
catch.
husband. She got protection. She got security. Obviously, and they say though she has more money and all of this. So my thing to that is, she went through some of her worst times before she got with him. She was depressed. She was out of her mind. She didn't know what she was gonna do. But in that time, that's when she, around that time, a little bit before that time is when she found him. And he was saying how when she was going through that, he would be on the phone with her, coaching her up, bigging her up, telling her, baby, you got this.
So guess what? That nigga was a catch.
That nigga was a catch. Because that money didn't make her happy. But you can see now that she got her whole husband.
She is that smile is different. Like it's different. I don't know her or anything, but you can just see, like you said, through the years of her happiness, right? It's a different type. I think
she was not this happy with just the
love
money.
is a different type of happiness. Love brings a different type of happiness.
Yeah.
And that girl happy, and y'all need to stop. I don't know who y'all is, but y'all stop.
Please stop.
He's a catch.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And if it's all right in their marriage, let it be all right in their marriage.
You go find you a marriage.
And let that nigga be a catch.
It's straight up. If you want to be a catch, if he think you a catch, whoever's the catch, whoever thinks they the catch, you just keep catching.
As long as y'all were together and y'all working it out and loving each other and being like grateful for each other, absolutely. That is what matters. These words that y'all attach yourselves to and you let it go left and right and all around. Ooh, y'all sit down.
Stop thinking money is everything. Money ain't everything. Status ain't everything. Doggone Olympic awards ain't everything. Everybody don't care about that. But it's obvious y'all do. Y'all need to stop it. Y'all need to let it go. Like another little TKO. But anyway, that is pretty much the end of this episode. Good conversation. What y'all think about our opinions? Are any of our points valid? Let us know in the comments.
And yes, I did say the N word. I said it.
Drop an N
4 times. I did because sometimes I just got to.
Y'all act like niggas for real.
For real.
Straight up.
Black Twitter, that ran me hot.
And Black Twitter ain't even a thing.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's a bunch of black people.
So that's Black Twitter. Don't do that.
So they got Mexican
I'm defending
Twitter?
it.
They got Mexican Twitter?
There was an Irish Twitter. Yes. It's probably Mexican Twitter. I know there's Black Twitter because I've seen it with mine own eyes.
I went on the Play Store and looked up Black Twitter and I couldn't find it.
It's there. I searched all over. You know,
with that being said, we appreciate everybody who locks in with us every week. If you get any value or enjoy the conversations that are being had right here on Is My Point, make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button, hit the everything so you can get notified when we drop new videos, which is every week. And like always, it's love, peace, and soul.
Bye.
Like Soul Train, baby. Chip.